Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem. Welcome back to today's Daf, Maseches KEREISOS Daf Dalet. We begin at the 2 dots, 6 lines from the top of the Amud. Amongst the violations that can trigger kares, if done purposely, or a korban chatos, if done by mistake, would be ha'echel chela, if one eats the forbidden fats of a behema, a kosher animal, whose fats are forbidden. Tana Rabbanan, what if he eats different types from different animals? Kol chelav shoyer v'chesav v'ez le'isei chela. The Torah warns against eating the fat of a shoyer, a bull, cow, kesav, sheep, v'ez, of a goat. Le'isei chelu, you should not eat that. What if he eats all three? L'chayev al kol achas v'achas. By enumerating each one separately, Torah is teaching us that each one is a separate violation. And if one proceeds and eats all three types after being warned not to do so, that will trigger malchus, one set of lashes per. Divrei Rabbi Shmuel, who holds that there are 3 separate isurim which trigger 3 separate punishments. Chacham Imrim, after all, it's covered under the same lav. Chacham Imrim eino chayav la'achas, can only trigger one lav, one malchus. Why? Neima palka mifli. Perhaps we can propose the machlekes as follows: Rishmal savar leikin alav shebachlolos. You get malchus, even if it's a bundled lav, a collective lav. Don't do this, this, or this. Lav applies to each one separately. Rabbanan savri ein leikin alav shebachlolos. You can't get multiple punishments for a single collective lav. In which case, even if he consumes all 3 types of chelav, it's covered under the same lav, one malchus. Is that a machlekes? Well, says the Gemara, no. Loilam Sava Rabbi Shmuel ein leikin lav shebachlolos. Typically, Rabbi Shmuel would hold there are no multiple punishments for a single collective lav. Here it's different, because the words in the pasuk are extra. The enumeration is to teach us that each one can trigger its own punishment. Look, nichtav kra, the pasuk can simply say, Kol chelev le'isei chelu, don't eat all the fats. Why go ahead and say shoyer, v'chesav, v'ez? Normally, what's the point of identifying them by name? Shema min al-chalik. Unless it's to teach it, each one is a separate violation, distinct, with its own punishment. Rabbanan, they respond, Iloi ksiv shoyer v'chesav, v'ez. The pasuk would not have listed them. There would be room for confusion. I would say, even the chelav of a undomesticated achaya would also be covered. That's what required the Torah to go through the names of the behemoths, of the more domesticated types to teach us. Remember to teach us the chelav shor v'chesav, only these types of chelav hu the asr of achaya, but of achaya shari, it's okay. So it's not extra; it's needed for that point. No, shape kamrele, it would seem that they have a valid argument. Ella, rather, let's go back to Rishmal. Hainu time to Rishmal. This is his reason. The kasavim came because he holds up it's only to exempt. The chelav of achaya didn't have to go through all 3 types. Lichtav kol chelav shor. They say don't eat the chelav of a shor. Automatically exempt achaya, kesav, and then va'ez lamali. What's the point of going through shema min al-chalak if only to tell you that each one's distinct and separate? V'Rabbanan, they respond, Rabbanan Sabri, because Rachman kol chelav shor. No, it wouldn't be enough to say kol chelav shor, because if it would, I wouldn't stop it. I wouldn't limit it to a behemoth. I would think neilav shor shor mi Sinai. By Har Sinai, it mentions shor. Rashi explains we're talking about the shor in the pasuk of L'man yanuach shorcha. Have your animals rest on Shabbos, and there it covers everything, chaya, noif, everything. So I would say the same over here. Although it says shor, but it covers all types, behemoths and chayas. Ma gabi Sinai, chaya v'oif kaitzben, just like by Har Sinai, chaya and oif are covered. Af gabi achil, likewise by eating forbidden fats. Chaya v'oif kaitzben has the same status as behemoth. That's why Torah had to go through all 3 to tell you only these. Only behemoths. Remember the hanidos Aval chayav shari, but of a chaya of a bird, it's okay. No. Once again, Shabbat it would seem that they have a valid argument. Ela in time. So what then is Rabbi Shmuel's reason for applying a punishment separate for each? Hani time the Kosavi holds still nichtayv kol chelav kesef. Let the Torah just say kesef. Lo yisachel, don't eat. Inami kol chelav eiz lo yisachel, or the one of a goat. In which case, it would preempt any connection to Sinai. You can't make Xer Shava. Only Shur allows for that connection, but these words don't. And that would be sufficient to exclude the Chaya. Shur, V'chesed, V'ez. What's that whole list? Lamali. Shemamna l'chalak to tell us that each one earns its own punishment. Rabbanon, they respond, Sabri, they hold Ikasav, Kol Chelav Kesef. The Torah would only say Kol Chelav Kesef. I would think, only the fat of a sheep. Maybe he's unique. Havamina Chelav Kesef Asr. But the fats of the Shur V'ez, Shur would be okay. Why would I think so? Why would I think that the sheep stands high? My ume, the kesef. Why is it kesef? A unique character. He has an advantage over the other ones. In terms of the fats of a carbon, by the kesef we have something over the other animals. The aliyah, the tail, the fat of the tail area. That's something unique to a sheep. So I would think maybe he has special status. And likewise, only his fat in general is forbidden because of that advantage that he has over the other ones. As we learn, he addresses a different point altogether, but it's going to circle back to this factor, the aliyah advantage that the kesef has. When the Torah enumerates the fats of the karbanos belonging on the mizbeach, we have a question, a very similar question. Why does the Torah have to go through all different types of animals? This fat, and that fat, and the other fat. Why did it have to go out of its way to stipulate that the imur and the fats of the shoyer and of the chesed and of the eiz belong on the mizbeach? It would be enough to have it said by one, and I would connect the other one. The chesiv, it says ach b'char shoyer, b'char chesed, b'char eiz. Their fats belong on the mizbeach. Tzrichi, you have to go through all three because they're distinct. Each one has its unique feature, which perhaps doesn't allow for comparison to the others. Because shur. If only shur, I would say, maybe only the fat of the shur goes on his back, not the other ones. Let's talk about B'char. Because I can say, shur has an advantage over the other ones. In the sacham, the wines, is much more by the shur family, by the cattle, than the other ones. So maybe because of his uniqueness, he has his fat on the mizbeach. Fine. Why not just say it by the kesef? V'neilav shur v'eiz mikesef. Learn the other ones from the kesef. You can differentiate once again. Malach kesef shekein nishrava ba'aliyah. There you go. Because the kesef has the aliyah on the mizbeach, which the other ones don't. So you can't learn from him. Okay, last option. Let it be said by the A's, and we'll learn the shur and the kesef on the A's. You can refute that as well. If an individual sins with idol worship, he has to bring an A's, something unique to an A's that you don't find by the other types of animals. Fine. I understand that you can't learn two from one, because every which way doesn't work. Fine, let it put it down by two. And we'll learn the third from the two. Which one do you want to learn from the other ones? Sure, from the other ones, you can refute that. Something unique about kesef v'eiz. Only goats and sheep are fit for carbon pesach. Something which a shur can't do. So you can't learn from them. Fine, that's out. Kesef, leave out kesef. Learn from the shur v'eiz. Once again, you can make a distinction. While shur v'eiz can shaba, something unique to the shur and the eiz, because they can serve as an atonement for avodah zarah. An individual who needs it brings a eiz, and the public sins, so they bring a parhalam davashal tzibor, a cow from the cattle family, and the shur family. So that makes them stand higher. So that's out. Lo nichtav eis, leave out the eis. V'neilef mishav chesed, learn from the other two. So in Picha we can make a distinction. Mal shav chesed can yesh bahen tzad ribui. Eitz mizbeach tabach adds. Shav chesed have won over the eis because it has an added element to the mizbeach. How's that? By the shar we have a greater quantity of nesachim, as we explained. By the kesef we have the tail, which is not found by the eis. So you can't learn one from the other. So that explains why. By the carbon, Bachar, the Torah has to go out of its way. You should know the fat of this one, of that, all belong on the Mizbeach. And back to our halacha as well. The issue of eating fat in general, the Torah has to go ahead and identify each animal by name, because you couldn't learn one from the other. For instance, you can't learn from the kesef, because the kesef has an advantage. His ali goes on his back, he stands higher than the rest. So that's really a kasha. Shapika Amrle would seem that the Rabban have a strong kasha, a strong point against Rabbi Shmuel. You're telling me each type of fat gets its own punishment because it's been stipulated separately. Well, there's a need to stipulate them, otherwise I wouldn't even know that they're asur. But maybe in fact if he eats them together, he gets only one malchus. Elo lo olam, time that Rabbi Shmuel them in mikara. Okay, so rather, Rabbi Shmuel's reason is, as we said before, dimkein, because if in fact there's only one malchus for all three types, nichteiv kol chelev, v'lo. The Torah could have just said, don't eat any fat, kol chelev, and stop right there. Why identify them by name? My amas. So what's your answer? Hide the cause of shor v'chesed. The reason why it listed them, l'mishri chelev chaya, in order to know that the chelev of a chaya is mutter, that's already known. Even without Hakiksiv Krab Inyana Dekachim. Who dichsiv? V'davar Lamed Minyana. You see, this pasuk forbidding fat off a behemoth is stated alongside the psukim where it's warned against eating the chelev of a carbon. And since by kachim, the issur of eating the chelev is discussed specifically regarding behemoths, so let's assume it's all the same context. The issur of eating ordinary chelev of a non-carbon behemoth is similar in format, in parameter, to the issur of eating chelev of kachim, which is limited to behemoths. We don't need an extra added confirmation and indication to that extent. We already know it from the context, from the contextual element. V'davar lamed minyana. In which case, the enumeration, kesef, shoir, eis, is extra to teach us each one's a separate violation. Okay, so what do Rabbanan say to this? Mechlal, the Rabbanan sabri le'alfinan davar lamed minyana. Do the Rabbanan not hold to the idea of learning from the contextual setting? Loi, the kuliyam, davar lamed minyana. Certainly, typically davar is lamed minyana. But here it's different, because this discussion is a bit different than the discussion of karbanis, because by the chelev of a carbon it stipulates kares, whereas over here it only speaks about a lav. Machlek is as follows: Rabbi Shmuel savar lameden lav milav. Bein milav the kares. You can learn a do not from a do not, whether we're learning from just a plain lav or even from kares, even though they're a bit dissimilar in discussion. Here it's just a lav, there it's kares. You can compare notes and learn from one from the other. And since over there it's limited to the behemoth, here as well, we don't need an extra pasuk. The extra pasuk is to tell you the extra malchus. Rabban, we skip the brackets. Rabban lav milav elfinan. Certainly, Rabban would compare lav to lav. A do not to a do not. They're on the same wavelength. But lav mikoros le'alfinan. We can't learn the meaning of a lav, of a simple lav, like the lav of not eating the chelev of an ordinary animal, from the discussion about the chelev of karbanis, which is a whole different dimension. It's kares. In which case we need a special clarification over here. And that's why Torah has to stipulate shor b'chesed eis to omit the chaya. People say another option is hainu tamay de rabbanon. Rabbanon's opinion is based on as follows. He asked him like this. So this is back in the Maseches Chulin. He says if that's the case, that the aliyah, the fat area of the tail area of the sheep is considered chelev regarding placement on the mizbeach. So if it's classified as chelev, then one can never eat the fatty tail of a sheep from a regular animal, regular sheep, because it's chelev. It's asur. If it's labeled as chelev for that, then it's labeled for chelev for this as well. He says no. It's only labeled chelev regarding hakrov on the mizbeach. Alech hakrov, for you the pasuk says kol chelev shoyer v'chesav eis. Our pasuk. In order for it to qualify as forbidden fat, it has to be something common to shoyer and kesav and eis. Davar hashav b'shlosh tamina. It needs to be a type of fat which is found by all three, as opposed to the aliyah of a leka, which is only found by the sheep, not by the other ones. Hilkach, therefore, ki also shar b'chesav eis. The reason why the Torah had to stipulate all three, to tell you it has to be common to all. L'mishru al yidachul, also to permit us to eat the fat of the tail area of the sheep. So it's not an extra pasuk. For Rabbi Yishmael Amalach, or Yishmael will respond, it is extra. Why? Imkain, because if only to teach us to permit the fat of the aliyah, le makra, kol chelev shar b'chesav. It would be enough to say chelev shar b'chesav. Only something which is common to the shar b'chesav is asur, as opposed to the aliyah, which is not common to the shar. Why eis? That's still extra. Eis lam l'ishmam l'chalek, to teach us that each one is a separate violation and triggers a separate malchus. So bottom line, if one eats the chelev of a shar and chesav and eis in the same sitting, according to Rabban, only one lav, because it's covered under the same lav, according to Rabbi Shmuel. Each one gets a separate malchus. Amar b'chani, no. You don't be Shmuel, who applies a separate malchus per violation, but when it comes to an inadvertent, mistaken consumption regarding chiyuv karban, even he agrees it's one carbon for all three. Moide, Rabbi Shmuel in karban, shein mevi el chatas achas, only triggers one chatas. You know why? My time up. Lo yidam yadin lav darayis, not comparable with lav of arayis. See that sort of a father example, precedent, where you have a separate lav per isur, and that's why each one triggers its own carbon. So in order to trigger a separate carbon, you have to have a separate lav. So once again, regarding malchus, for eating it purposely, of course, each one gets a separate malchus, but for carbon, that's counted based on the amount of the number of lavin. And since it's only a single lav covering all three types of chelev, it's only one carbon. Continues the Gemara. Turn her up on. So the Brisa will focus on a pasuk regarding a chiyuv chatas. V'asa me'achas mehena. He will have violated one mehena, which is a reference to the many. So we learn the pasuk as though it says v'asa achas, although he only violated one. V'asa eina, we deem it as though he did many, and it triggers multiple chatas obligations. How is that? L'chayev al kol achas v'achas. Sometimes you can do just one sin. It translates into many chiyuvim of carbon chatas. How? Shem ochal chelev v'chelev. Suppose he ate a portion of chelev and another portion of chelev. Shem echad. Although they're the same type of chelev. However, b'shtei ha'leimus, in two experiences of forgetfulness. He forgot, he ate, he reminded himself, forgot again, chayev shtayim. So each one gets its own chatas. Likewise, shtei shemes v'elam echad, chayev shtayim. Suppose he ate two types, even in the same experience, he's chayev twice. And why? Amali Rabbi Baruch Hamad Rav Chizda, why? Vishlema, first case I understand. Shem echad b'shnei ha'leimus, same type in two experiences. Of course he's chayev two, because each one is a separate experience. Chayev shtayim mishum the ha'leimus machalket. Separate forgetfulnesses make it separate experiences, each one with its own chatas obligation. Ella shnei shemus v'elam echad, but two types in one sitting. Amai chayev shtayim, why is it chayev two? We need different experiences. Well, look, you don't have that here. Amalei my skinny says we're talking about the achal chelev the nicer. The reason why it's chayev two is because as chelev had another thing wrong with it. It was left over from a carbon. That's why it's chayiv 2. Not 2 for the chaylev. 1 for the chaylev, 1 for the fact that it's also noiser. The machayev mishum noiser, mishum chaylev. Amalim kein chayiv na mishum kodesh. Why stopping at 2? If it's carbon material, he committed another sin. He misused carbon material for personal use. That's another obligation, another asham. I'll tell you what's going on. Going to achal chaylev the hekdesh. It wasn't nicer, it was chaylev belonging to a carbon. And we're going like Rabbi Yehuda, who holds that when one eats ordinary chaylev, it's 1 chiyuv, chatos. If it happens to be chaylev of a carbon, he did 2 things wrong. Because there are 2 psukim. 1, warning against eating regular chaylev. 1, warning against chaylev kodesh. So when you eat chaylev kodesh, you have 2 liabilities on hand. Rabbi Yehuda, the son, achal chaylev nevela. The person ate chaylev of an nevela. Or achal chaylev mukdash. In either case, chayiv times, chayiv twice. Why? Because it's chaylev and nevela. Because it's chaylev and it's carbon. Rabbi Yehuda, it's 3. Chaylev mukdash like a shalish. If it happens to be chaylev of a carbon, he's chayiv because it's chaylev of a carbon, plus because he misused carbon material. So clearly, chaylev of a carbon has a double liability. Mechakola, they laughed on this. Marav and Eretz Yisrael. What do you have to go look for a new sheet? For a unique case, an exotic, combination. Standard chaylev. He ate a piece of chaylev shoyer, and from the chesed, and from the A's. And that triggers a triple liability. Rabbi Shmuel, the Amar Lekes Shalish, just get 3 malchus. 1 per. Return to Talmud base. So why couldn't you align this brisa with Rabbi Shmuel? Because it's not going to work. As we learned already, because although according to Rabbi Shmuel, each type earns its own malchus, but there's only 1 carbon covering all. Because the Amar of Chanina, Bishmol in carbon. Bishmol would agree regarding carbon, there's only 1 chatas covering them all. Well, guess what? Likewise, it won't work with Rabbi Yehuda either. Just because it's chaylev of a carbon, it's not going to trigger a double chatas. The Amar Belazar, Maidaya, Rabbi Yehuda in carbon, she'en me'vil chatas achas. So even according to Rabbi Yehuda, there's only 1 carbon covering them all. True. But makes it a separate malchus. 1 for chaylev, 1 for chaylev kodesh. So if he eats chaylev kodesh, he gets twice. But carbon, after all, it's only chaylev. It's 1 concept, it's 1 idea. And there's only 1 carbon, as we learned earlier regarding Rabbi Shmuel. So how could you explain the brisa, which says that he gets 2 chatos obligations? Why would he? If he's doing it in the same halem, the same unawareness. Ella Amar Ishlakish, Mishum Bar Utini. Hachab Maiskin, I'll explain to you why. He's getting twice. He ate 2 portions of chaylev, from 2 pots, from 2 dishes, 2 cooked differently. The Amar Tamchin Mechalk, Bishua holds that if they're prepared differently, even though they're both chaylev, each one is distinct and separate and has its own liability, even regarding carbon. Okay, so again we have the brisa. He eats 2 portions in different experiences, different heleimais. Of course, each one gets its own chatas. In the same helem, it also gets 2 chatas. Why? So the Gemara wanted to say, maybe talking about chaylev of noiser. Then we went over to chaylev of hegdish, and then we went to shnei tamchuin. Gufa. Ochal chaylev nevela kishtayim. Let's go back to the brisa. He had a piece of chaylev from a nevela. He gets malchus twice. 1 nevela, 1 chaylev. Chaylev mukdashim, like a shtaim, once again, because it's chaylev and it's kodesh. B'daimer, 3. Chaylev mukdashin like a shalish. Why? Because as we said, there's one isser for chaylev. If it's chaylev mukdashin, there's another isser, and then you have a factor, you have carbon material that you misused. Amalei Rav Sheiz v'Rav Bishlam Rav Yehuda. Let me explain to Rav Yehuda's source, because we have 3 pesukim for each, 1 per violation. Hainuch Sivi Kroy, that explains the pesukim. Because we have the carbon, the pasuk, not to eat chaylev of carbon, chukas olam, right? Kol chaylev v'chadam l'sechel. That's by carbonis. So fat of a carbon is aser per se. Then we have by ordinary chaylev. Kol chaylev shor v'chaz lebeis l'sechel. Now we have a person who just misuses, he eats carbon material, period, even meat. Chol zar lechal kodesh. Hotas alavs, a total of 3 lavs. Hence, if he eats a chaylev of a carbon, it's chayav 3 malchus. Ella l'rabban, my time, why do Rabbanon apply only 2? Because Sabri, they hold. Lav de chukas olam, b'kachim. You can't mix chulin and kachim. Each one has its own lav. And we don't double it up. The lav of chukas olam, the first one is only by kachim. V'lav de chaylev b'shar, the next pasuk, was only b'chulin. In which case, if one eats chaylev of kachim, it's only chayav 1. Chaylev chulin, chayav 1. Now, it's richi. According to Rabban, each pasuk addresses its own. This one chulin, this one kachim. Why do we need 2 pesukim? Why wouldn't I just compare them? Each one is needed. You can't learn one from the other. Because rachan b'kachim, to turn only one is against eating chaylev of kachim. I mean, I would say, yeah, kachim with the chamir, kachim is more strict. The asur chelva. Hence, the chaylev is also a chulin, a regular animal. Emalei, maybe it's not also. Shamachi, kasr rachmana, kol chaylev shar. To tell you, even chaylev of chulin. Because of chol chaylev, sure, if only that pasuk, I would say, Havamina, maybe only chaylev of chulin. Chaylev de chulin, the asr, mishum lehuda mechlale. There's no exception to the rule, there's never an allowance, so. Of course it's asr, aber chaylev mukadashin, lehuda mechlale. But by carbonis, we have an interesting phenomenon. We have an exception to the rule. What does that mean? Because the fats of the carbonis are burnt on the mizbeach, including the alya, right, the fatty tail area of the sheep. So regarding carbonis, we define that part as chaylev as well. Nevertheless, that same area by the shur, by the a's, the tails are exempt from haktorah. So we find an exception regarding the concept of chaylev. Havamina, so perhaps I can say, just like the tail, the flesh over there is mutter, meaning it's not put on the mizbeach by the other animals aside from the sheep. So perhaps the chaylev of the carbonis are mutter as well for consumption. Hence, we need a pasuk. 1 pasuk for chulin, 1 pasuk for kach. Rabbi Yehuda Savar, ki ksiv chaylev shar b'nyan de kachim ksiv. Rabbi Yehuda says, you can't even suggest for a moment that only the chaylev of chulin is also not kachim, because the pasuk, which adds the consequence, if one eats chaylev, there's kares, guess what? It's said in the context of karbanis. So of course, we know that chaylev of karbanis are asur as well. So why did the pasuk have to repeat and tell us that there's an isser of eating chaylev karbanis? To add another level of violation to double it up. Ella, so according to this, mechalal de rabbanan sabri le'afina davar lo minyanei. So Rabbanan wouldn't learn from the context. Rabbi Yehuda says the kares relates to eating chaylev of kachim because it's in the discussion of karbanis. So certainly we know that there's a law against eating chaylev of kachim. Rabbanan don't hold of learning from context. Why? Of course they don't disagree with the concept of learning minyane from the concept. Of course, typically we learn from the context. Machlekes over here is as follows. Rabbi Savar. Lameid and lav melav. Lav mikaris. We can learn lav from lav and lav from karis, which means to say that the fact that the discussion about karis is discussed within the context of a korban discussion, that also indicates to us that the lav against eating chaylev relates to korbanos as well. So we compare the lav to the karis. So yeah, you can learn from context whether it's trying to derive the meaning of the lav from the surrounding discussion of a lav or from the surrounding discussion of karis. If you have a unexplained lav and the context, subject matter is a lav of some sort, so you can compare and learn from the context. But you can't compare lav of eating chaylev from the karis of eating chaylev. Lav mekaris le'alfina. So since the lav against eating chaylev is not really, it's a bit ambiguous, it's not labeling it clearly, there's no indication it's talking about korbanos. So we have no right to learn it from the context of the kares, which is near the korbanos, because it's a separate, different type of discussion. Tanya, we have another brayso which discusses the machlekes between Rabbi and Rabbanan regarding the multiple liabilities for eating chaylev or dam belonging to a korban. Tanya, kol chaylev v'chol dam le'sei chaylev. So the pasuk here is comparing eating blood to eating chaylev. What for? To teach us ma chaylev lekeshtayim, just like a portion of chaylev belonging to a korban triggers a double violation of dam lekeshtayim, likewise by dam. Dam, even of a korban, only carries one liability. Ask the Gemara, why do we need to import anything from chaylev to dam? Same reason why by chaylev there are two violations, because there are two psukim. One for regular chaylev, one for chaylev of korban. So when it's tallied, together we have two. Same thing by dam, we have two separate psukim, one by regular dam, one by dam of korban. Why is it chaylev twice for chaylev of a korban? But in case without the hekesh and comparing and importing, we have two psukim. Right? One by the regular chaylev, one by the chaylev of a korban. We have kol chaylev chodam l'sei chaylev by the korban. We have kol chaylev shaber chesed by regular chaylev. Hence, chaylev of korban contains two liabilities. Well, dam nami, b'lav ekesha nilkish time. Same thing by dam. Even without connecting it to chaylev, we should know that there are two violations for eating dam of korban. Lavin, why? Because we have two lavin. One is kol chaylev chodam l'sei chaylev, that's by korban. Then we have another issur about regular dam. So we know that dam of korban has two isurim. The pasuk of korban and the pasuk of chol dam. That's regular dam. Rather, the brayso is meant to be learned like this. It's not two, it's three. Just as if one consumes chaylev of a korban, it's chayv 3. Chaylev korban, and the fact that he's doing me'ilah is partaking in korban material in an unauthorized manner. Same thing with dam. Chayv 3. For this we have to go to chaylev. Why? What's unique about chaylev that triggers 3? Because we have 3 sources. We have the 2 lavin, chaylev, and also v'lav dezaros. Because a zar, non-kohen, has no business eating. So he's transgressing another law. Chazal leichel kodesh, hot lasa, for total of 3. Dam nami, dam the same thing. We have standard isur dam. We have the advanced isur dam of korban. We have the fact that he's a zar. Itzrich. We do need to import this halacha from chaylev. Why? There's room to think. Since we know from elsewhere that, in contrast to a person who is tummy, who eats a korban, is chayiv kares. By dam, there's no such liability. So maybe since dam has that leniency, this might mizaris. Maybe it's exempt from zar as well. If a zar eats it, there's no liability. Kamashmon hekesha. That's why we have this hekesh to compare it to chaylev, to compare notes. Okay, so this works according to Rabbi Yehuda. Just as chaylev has 3 violations, dam as well. But according to Rabbanon, even chaylev of a korban only has 1 violation. pointed Rabbanan, who held that there's only one Asara, one warning, one transgression, when one eats chaylev of a carbon. Apparently they hold there's no malchus for being a non-kohen, for whatever reason they hold there's no. So what's the point of comparing dam to chaylev? What are we learning from chaylev to dam? If so. What's the hekesh from the sign is needed for the following price? Pasuk says, Kol chaylev v'chol dam lo yitzeh chaylev. One should keep away from chaylev and dam. What's the comparison between dam and chaylev? Ma chaylev miyuchad shechal b'chol b'sar. What's unique about chaylev? It's distinct, it's separate from the basar. You see, only chaylev of a kosher animal is also, so the flesh in that case is totally mutter. But the chaylev is off limits. So the chaylev is distinct, is separate. And therefore, you can't combine them. If one eats a kazayis, which is made up part of chaylev and part of the basar, of course it's not going to amount to a chaylev, a kazayis of Isser. Likewise, abdam, likewise, when it comes to blood. Even though, unlike by chaylev, which only applies to kosher animals, dam applies to any animal. So perhaps since the dam and the bas are really forbidden materials, you can join them together and combine them to the required share of a kazayis. No. Rather, we treat the dam different than the basar. And in order to be chayiv, it needs to be a full kazayis of dam without any basar. Okay, that's only by the behemoths, by the chayis. However, oitzi dam shrotzim, as opposed to the blood of a creature, that's different. The blood and the flesh there are one big entity. He's not prominent enough to have distinct, classifications of meat but it's all one big mishmash. Oitzi dam shrotzim hoil vein dam chol b'saron. Since over there, halachically, the dam and the bas are one and the same. Because even if one eats dam of a sheretz, he's not liable on account of dam. It's considered sheretz. Just like you don't eat the rest of the sheretz, you don't eat the dam of the sheretz. So you can combine them to achieve a kazayis of Israel. So that's the point of comparing dam to chaylev, to tell you that when can you not combine things? When they're separate. Like chaylev, which is asr, versus the basar of the behemoth Torah, which is mutter. Like the dam of a behemoth tmeya, where the dam is asr and is is liable, as opposed to the basar of the behemoth tmeya, which only asr on account of a lav. So they're separate, they're distinct. You can't combine them for a shear. But dam shruatzim, with the dam and the basar, have one and the same status, so to speak. So you can combine them. Asks the Gemara, v'hamachan nafka. This halacha to combine the dam and the basar of the sheretz is learned from here. Masam nafka, we have a different pasuk for that. Extra pasuk there to tell you can be mitzarif the dam of the sheretz with the basar of the sheretz to get you the kazayis. Limud adam ha-sheretz va-sheretz, b'sar v'zem is. So why a new pasuk? Ilav answers, if not for this new connection that we learned today, I would think, how do we lean in tumah? Regarding matters of tumah, yes, the dam and the flesh of the sheretz can combine, because tumah, in a way, is very strict by the sheretz. Even a lentil-sized piece of sheretz can convey tumah. So maybe over there it's strict, so you combine all types of elements. When it comes to the issue of eating a sheretz, where he's only liable if he eats a kazayis, perhaps there we don't make this combination of dam with the basar of the sheretz. That's why we need this hekesh la'achila to tell you that only by chaylev, only by dam of a behemoth do we separate the dam from, but by sheretz, it's all one big happy family. Amar Avin Hilkach, dam nachash of sarim mitzdarfen. Likewise by a snake, the dam of the snake and the basar mitzdarfen, even though he's not really one of the 8 shrotzim which convey tumah. Says in my Kamash, what's the point of Ravina? I know Kesha, we just had the hekesh. They combine the dam of the sheretz with the saga. There's room to think maybe that ability to combine only applies to those 8 unique types of creatures which convey tumah. Sheretz is shabbat tumah, sheretz which conveys tumah. Shabbat achila has this advantage that you combine all the elements together regarding Isra achila. Nachash shabbat tumah. Nachash has no ability to convey tumah. Perhaps doesn't have this combination option regarding achila. That's why we need this hakesh to tell you It's universal. This formula applies to any case. Kol mili, dein dam mechalkim b'sara mashma. Any type of creature, any type of situation where the dam is treated like the basar, and not distinct, and not separate, such as by a creature, any creature. You can combine them to get to the kazayas regarding Israel. Okay, so bottom line, we have reviewed this chidush, at least regarding Malchus. Since we have a pasuk for regular chelev, another pasuk regarding chelev kachim, so if one eats chelev kachim, it's chayiv twice, for chelev and chelev kachim. Also chayiv because it's carbon material. Rabbanan say no, it's one pasuk per, one for chelev chulin, one for chelev kachim, one liability for each. Now, if we look around the Torah, we find the Torah mentions kares regarding consuming Adam 3 times. The question is why? Amar Rav, shalosh KEREISOS and musbad dam lamai. What's the point of mentioning kares 3 times regarding eating dam? Achas ladam chulin, v'achas dam kachim, one for chulin, one for kachim, v'achas neter dam atamsis. To cover even blood which trickled out of the animal, later on after death. Well, let's go to according to the Sanya, the holds dam atamsis bas Torah, b'dam b'kares. Chacham say it's only a warning against eating dam atamsis. It's not the life force of the animal. It's only a law. But just says this kares, so it works according to him. According to Rabban, there's no kares dam atamsis. What's the third mentioning of kares? I forget Rabbi Yehuda. Even going to Rabbi Yehuda, it's already learned from a different place. Kares nafkale. He's learning kares from kol dam, from the extra word kol, the sani. We have a price Rabbi Yehuda. Could have said dam. Kol dam. What's kal? Kol dam. Ainli ela dam kachim. Perhaps the Isser is only, kares is only if one eats dam of a carbon, which is meant for atonement, so there it's terrible. But dam chulin, if he eats dam of a regular animal, dam atamsis, or they trickle blood, kol dam covers them all. So why do we need that extra kares if we already have kol dam? Rather, Rava meant like this. Echas dam chulin, one for chulin blood, ve'echas dam kachim, the third one is to cover even blood that had been covered in the ground. So you have the blood of a chaya or a bird which was covered. When they did kisi adam, they sprinkled it with afer. You think maybe it becomes batal, becomes nullified to the ground. And if one eats it at this point, it's not liable. The answer is yes. It still retains its status. Okay, one more list of psukim amarava. Look around the Chumash. Torah warns against eating dam 5 times. Why 5 lavin? Echel dam chulin, one for regular dam. Echel dam kachim. Echel dam kisei, like we explained before. Echel dam ivarn. Blood comes out of a aver, a part of the animal before shechita. Echel dam atamsis, like we discussed before. They're all covered, and they're all us. We'll continue with Hashem tomorrow. Okay, we discussed the various lavin of Shor v'Chesav Eiz according to Rishmuel. Each type of chelev gets its own lav. We explained that the extra psukim, that's why each one gets its own lav. But we concluded even according to Rishmuel, there's only one carbon on behalf of all. We discussed chelev of chulin, chelev of kachim. Is it separate? Is it the same? Meaning there's a separate isser for chelev of kachim on top of chelev chulin. Machlokes. Discussed when you can combine the basa with the other things. Why there are 3 KEREISOS and why 5 lavin by achilas dam. Okay, Be'ez Hashem will continue tomorrow. All the best to you and hatzlachah.